How about them Cowboys? Angry Cowboys fan. Born to battle. Start just means we never sell. America's team through thick and thin. When the star shines bright, that's when we win. Angry Cowboys fan.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation? And angry Cowboys fans around the world. Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. And I know Cowboys Nation has some concerns when it comes to Jerry and Stephen Jones doing their due diligence in order to extend George Pickens, keeping him a Dallas Cowboy for years to come. I've seen Cowboys fans over on X saying goodbye to George Pickens, and for the life of me, I don't understand why Cowboys fans are ready to just throw in the towel. They're ready to just give up on the notion that George Pickens will be a Dallas Cowboy after this offseason. While scrolling on YouTube, I came across Yahoo Sports Inside Coverage podcast with Andrew Sililiano, and during the podcast episode, he tapped in with Jori Epstein and they spoke about the George Pickens contract situation. Jori Epstein said that she got a hold of Stephen Jones at the Senior Bowl and they were able to exchange some conversation when it has to do with George Pickens. So we're going to take a listen to the two clips that I got for y'all, and y'all know what we're going to do. We're gonna come back and unpack this raw and uncut. So, Angry Cowboys fans, let's take a listen to the first clip from the Inside Coverage podcast brought to you by Yahoo Sports.
Near and dear to your heart, the Dallas Cowboys, still reporting on them. What's going on down there with the Cowboys?
Yeah, I talked to Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones when he was here this week, and I talked to him about their new defensive coordinator, Christian Parker, who was pass game coordinator, overlooking the DBs in the Eagles, or overseeing, I should say, the DBs with the Eagles this past year. First of all, they are fired up about him. I talked to people in Philly and former stops who work with him, and they're like, this guy's a genius. He communicates so well. He instills confidence in his players, and he understands how to really get the best out of them, both from a technique standpoint and a schematic standpoint. What was interesting to me is that when I asked Stephen Jones about George Pickens, their receiver, and what they're going to do, hey, are you going to franchise tag him? Do you expect an extension? How do you go about working it out? One thing he told me that surprised me is that the Cowboys defensive coordinator interviews actually further instilled their confidence in why they should keep George Pickens around. Because they're talking to all these defensive coordinator candidates and they're like, hey, you guys were a pain to go against this past year. I mean, again, guys like the Eagles, they face the Cowboys and they're like, well, usually, you want to put your best corner on the receiver. You want to kind of cloud and double it. And now it's like, you need your best corner on one side, you need double on the other. And it really created some challenges. And so I think that the Cowboys already knew George Pickens was talented, and they still have to figure out the financials and whether they think that a one-year deal or a multi-year deal makes the most sense for where they're at. And not having Micah Parsons on the cap definitely helps in terms of giving room, and they've got multiple first-round picks. But I was surprised and I thought it was clever that the Cowboys' takeaway from the defensive interviews were not only about defense, it was also, hey, here's how we understand the way our offense is stressing other defenses.
You know, Cowboys Nation, I didn't think about the coaching staff asking potential defensive coordinators about CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. The candidates confirmed the fact that George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb were problems to scheme for last year. It certainly should be a part of the mindset whenever Jerry and Stephen Jones want to think about what the best route is and keeping that duo together. This way, the offense can continue to be successful for years to come, especially in the passing game, Cowboys Nation. But now let's go ahead and jump into the second clip so we can quickly get to this raw and uncut.
It's not. And it's interesting because I did talk to an executive from another team yesterday who's like, hey, I trust George more in Dallas than I trust him with a lot of teams because I think Dak and I think their infrastructure and I think Shoddy will be able to kind of keep him on the right path. But he has not shown it for multiple years. The end of his time in Pittsburgh was not particularly smooth. And even in Dallas this year when he was better off the field, he still missed a curfew in Vegas. Like, you still have to worry about this guy. And I think probably even more concerning than what George was doing was the fact that CeeDee missed the curfew with him. And then you have to say, okay, well, is he going to bring other people down with him? But I think when it comes down to it, like this year, he was more productive than CeeDee Lamb, and he had a higher ceiling this season than CeeDee Lamb. And so then you have to say, how do we make all of these contracts work? And I talked to some people here who say, hey, I'd want to make him the third, or if I were his agent, I would ask for third highest paid money. Like, he's not going to get Jamar Chase money, but he might get close. I would want to know of guarantees. And I will say that when the Cowboys were negotiating a contract with Randy Gregory years ago, and Randy Gregory, their defensive end, who had multiple suspensions for the league for violations of the substance abuse policy, he was between going to the Dallas Cowboys and the Denver Broncos. And one of the reasons he signed with the Broncos is because the Broncos were willing to waive a clause about his money getting voided if he got suspended again, and the Cowboys were not. And so if there was something like that, and I get that George Pickens has not been suspended, but if there were some sort of clause that allowed them to void the guarantees if there were off-field issues, I think that's where I would want to know, like, hey, can you work that into the contract? But also David Mulligetta reps him, and he doesn't really give a lot in negotiations.
No, he does not.
You know, Cowboys Nation, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, they did get reprimanded whenever we had to play Las Vegas and they missed curfew. That was one time, Cowboys Nation. I know Jerry and Stephen Jones ain't gonna hold that against George Pickens, especially after the way the Pittsburgh Steelers media and fan base painted George Pickens. This is light work, real talk. But man, I don't think Pickens was as bad as the Pittsburgh Steelers media and fan base made him out to be. Was that because he was in a contract year? Or is it the brother turning a new leaf? One can only guess, Cowboys Nation, but y'all ready for this raw and uncut? Y'all ready? Let's get it. Get ready for the Angry Cowboys fans, raw and uncut.
Keeping it real, man. Keep it real. That's real.
All right, Cowboys Nation. I know this George Pickens extension is going to be at the forefront of every Dallas Cowboys fan's minds until they either get it done or they let him walk. It kind of resembles the whole Micah Parsons situation, except for the fact that Jerry and Stephen Jones don't have time to waste when it comes to George Pickens. Micah Parsons, he had his fifth-year option to work with. George Pickens, he's a free agent in a few weeks, so time is of the essence. So now what do the Dallas Cowboys do? Well, they could franchise tag him and have him go into the 2026 season pissed off at the fact that they couldn't get a deal done, that he doesn't have any long-term security. They could allow him to walk for a potential third-round compensatory pick for the 2027 draft, which doesn't help us one bit this year. They could franchise tag him and get the deal done before July 1st, or they could pull out all the stops and get the deal done the first day where legal tampering is available. But I'll keep it a buck, Cowboys Nation. One thing that scares me is the fact of how the Dallas Cowboys prioritized getting Ryan Flournoy the ball last year. When Ryan Flournoy showed that he could withstand the bright lights and he would show up and he would show out, I started thinking that Jerry and Stephen Jones may allow George Pickens to walk in favor of Ryan Flournoy becoming the wide receiver 2 alongside CeeDee Lamb. I honestly don't think that's a good idea, Cowboys Nation. Ryan Flournoy would be a great wide receiver 3 to add to CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, but I don't think he has the moxie to carry the torch that George Pickens would leave behind. Those would be some of the hugest shoes they have to fill, Cowboys Nation. Real talk. But the fact that the interviewing staff asked the defensive coordinator candidates about the game plan for CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, that was a pretty smart idea, Cowboys Nation. That should have shown Jerry and Stephen Jones that keeping George Pickens is probably the smartest move this offseason. And I understand that George Pickens would command something north of $30 million, but I truly believe that he's absolutely worth it, Cowboys Nation. Also, winning the Super Bowl is priceless to Jerry and Stephen Jones, so why would they even think about going in another direction when it comes to a dominant wide receiver like George Pickens? For the 2024 and 2025 season, Cowboys Nation was asking for someone to pair with CeeDee Lamb. When George Pickens was signed, you could see the excitement in CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott's demeanor because he has another dangerous weapon that could be added to the Dallas Cowboys arsenal. So letting them walk out the front door would show me a lot from the Dallas Cowboys front office. For weeks, Jerry and Stephen Jones have been saying that they had enough salary cap to get the contract done with George Pickens. Now the Cowboys Nation and the talking heads are holding Stephen Jones' foot to the fire. I'm starting to hear Stephen Jones say but in a lot of situations. Like I said in the previous video, this move It's going to show me everything that I need to know when it comes to how serious Jerry and Stephen Jones are in achieving a Super Bowl in the near future. If they allow George Pickens to walk while not replacing him, I got my answer, Cowboys Nation, that they're not serious in making it to a Super Bowl anytime soon. That nothing has changed in this organization, and they're going to continue to be the same old Dallas Cowboys, the same old Jerry and Stephen Jones, trying to win with the bare minimum. If you take a look at the most recent Super Bowl champions, they didn't just do the bare minimum to bring the Lombardi Trophy home. They put everything on the line, Cowboys Nation. The Buccaneers put it all on the line to bring Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski to the team. The Los Angeles Rams put it all on the line for trading for Matthew Stafford. The Philadelphia Eagles put it all on the line in attaining Saquon Barkley, bringing C.J. Gardner-Johnson back, Zach Bond, while also winning in the 2024 draft. The Dallas Cowboys need to follow suit, because if they don't, it's going to be the exact same outcome that they've been having for the past 30 years. I don't know how many times I got to say that. But until Cowboys Nation gets the news that Jerry and Stephen Jones have reconstructed Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Quentin Williams, Osa Odigizua, Kenny Clark, Jake Ferguson, and so on, there will be no moves on George Pickens. That doesn't mean that it won't happen, Cowboys Nation, but in order for it to happen, the Dallas Cowboys are going to need that cap space. They're going to need enough cap dollars to get the deal done with George Pickens. Will it happen before Pickens has to sign a franchise tag? Only time will tell, Cowboys Nation. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. Cowboys Nation, what do you feel about what the Inside Coverage podcast had to say? Do you feel that the deal will get done? Or do you think that George Pickens won't be a Dallas Cowboy for the 2026 season? Y'all know how we do. We always talk about it in the comment section. If you're digging this content and you want to help the channel reach its current goal of 20,000 subscribers, drop a like on this video, share it with anybody that you know is a Dallas Cowboys fan, and if you're on your mobile device, make sure you hype this video. Doing so will get the content out to Cowboys Nation. They'll come over to the Angry Cowboys Fan YouTube channel, and we'll be Angry Cowboys fans together. And if you are DC for life and you just want them to get the deal done so we can move forward into the 2026 draft, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified whenever I go live, release a video, podcast episode, or film breakdowns. You can catch the Madden 26 and College Football 26 gameplay on my new channel, the Angry Cowboys Fan Gaming Channel. I'll put the link to that in the description. But like I said earlier, Cowboys Nation, this move is the move that will tell me how serious Jerry and Stephen Jones are about winning a Super Bowl championship. If you allow George Pickens to walk out the front door, then you're only hurting the offense that was ranked in the top 5 for the majority of 2025. So let's move like we want to win a Super Bowl in the near future. And that consists of keeping GP3 as a Dallas Cowboy. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. I got a surprise for y'all when we go live for the next time. And I'm out. Dang, Angry Cowboys Fan, you done made it through the entire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.